Tonight, wifey's out at her friend, co-worker, work wife. She's got an apartment in Cathedral City. So wifey went and brought a basket full of goodies as a housewarming gift, and they're having dinner there and so on and so forth. So I'm left at the house with a large pizza, Domino's. And I've already eaten half the pizza, but I'm gonna eat some more. Life without pizza, I can't go on. Life without pizza.
I just said it without this, without this, that my lifestyle. I just said it for too late, I don't even know if you go without the beginning.
I'm back again to the pizza box. Last 2 slices. I ate a whole large deluxe pizza by myself. Shout out to my boss, Nick. Who's probably gonna say,
Great, that's a whole pizza.
yeah, Nick, it is a whole pizza. And
I need you to stop everything you're doing and give me about 6 or 7 minutes of your time. So what happened with Roe v. Wade, other than it being about abortion, it's really not why it's so monumental. What is monumental about this is that SCOTUS is holding the government accountable to what is in the Constitution and what is not in the Constitution. What comes next, what could come next, if people stop being angry about abortion, is the fact that income tax is not constitutional. Watch this video and you'll see what I mean.
There is no law, and to date, nobody has been able to show that there is a law for the average American citizen working day in and day out to pay an income tax.
But We the People Foundation for Constitutional Education put a full-page ad in the USA Today on July 7th, 2000. And within the body of that ad was a $50,000 challenge for anyone that could show the law. And to me, $50,000 is a lot of money. So I went after that and did the research based on the fact that I thought, let's put this baby to bed. I'm hearing all these rumors. I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll answer these people's questions that are asking me, and then I'll win this $50,000. And, based on the research that I did throughout the year 2000 and that I'm still doing, I have not found that law. I've asked Congress. We've asked a lot of people in the IRS commissioners, helpers. They can't answer, because if they answer, the American people are going to know that this whole thing is a fraud.
There is no law that requires the average American worker in the private sector to pay a direct unapportioned tax on their labor and compensation for services. There is no law.
I really expected that, of course there's a law that you can point to in the law book, the code, that requires you to file a tax return. Of course there is. Maybe I don't know what it is right then as he was speaking to me, but sure. So naively, I agreed to go off and research it and get back to him. 3.5 months later, I was at that point where I couldn't find the statute that clearly made a person liable, at least not me and most people I know. And I had no choice in my mind except to resign.
I had to leave the IRS because I presented evidence that I had accumulated indicating that the agency was violating the law and violating people's rights. And I asked the agency for a response to my sincere concerns. And the answer I got was that they would not respond to my concerns and that they would provide me with the paperwork necessary to tender my resignation.
You can look through the statutes and look for the law that requires you to pay. And when you do that, you can't identify a law that requires the average person in America who earns a wage and works in private business to pay an income tax.
American citizens, along with the foundation, have been asking the IRS to specifically provide them with the underlying legal foundation upon which they administer and enforce the personal income tax laws in our country.
At the national level, when people would attempt to contact somebody of a much higher authority, say the commissioner, same kind of thing. They would get answers that were in effect non-answers.
You have to understand that an agency which will unlawfully impose a tax that doesn't exist is not going to care. If we, the people, don't know what our rights are, they're not going to tell us.
If Americans just learned that the IRS was actually knowingly deceiving them, that would be enough for them to rise up and put a stop to it.
100% of what is collected is absorbed solely by interest on the federal debt. All individual income tax revenues are gone before 1 nickel is spent on the services taxpayers expect from government. People have been told, that you need this income tax system to fund government, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, my question is, well, if that's true, how did we fund government from 1776 to 1913?
The main purpose of the income tax is not to raise revenue, but to redistribute wealth and to control society.
And a lot of people might say, well, gee, if there wasn't an income tax, what would happen to education? They don't understand that education is paid for the most part, out of state and local taxes, your property tax. People might say, well, how are we going to build and maintain our highways? If there's no money coming into the government, we need our highways. There is a tax on every gallon of gasoline that people buy. Proceeds from the income tax do not pay for highway construction.
I believe that in both spirit and substance, our tax system has come to be un-American. Death and taxes may be inevitable, but unjust taxes are not.
This small booklet includes the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. This is a document that every citizen should read. It's a document which freed an entire nation. This is the Internal Revenue Code, and this document, and the unlawful application of this document by the Internal Revenue Service has enslaved the nation that this document attempted to free.
I know what y'all thinking. Why is this going to matter to people who don't pay taxes? It seems like those of you who want abortion so much, y'all even work. You get every single freaking protest crying about the shit. Y'all work. Personally, me, I love my job, but I'm still tired of earning an income just so that a big portion of my income goes to deductions for shit that I don't need. I'm not old enough for SSI, but okay, fine. I'll pay in the SSI so that way when I decide to retire, if I ever do retire, it's there. But there are people, especially here in the state of California, all they got to do is do drugs. And all they got to do is end up in lockdown facilities. Then they go and collect Social Security insurance. I know this from firsthand experience when I worked at RI International as a peer support specialist, uncertified, of course. And everyone in the house, schizophrenic, schizoaffective, more than half of them were recovering from their meth addiction. They were all receiving Social Security insurance, SSI. And they were all within the ages of 24 and 36, with an exception to a couple of them were 40 something, and then one was actually 58 or 59. So still not old enough for SSI. And none of them cared. None of them cared, guys, that they were in a state that they were. One of them, she keeps saying, I don't know why he gets all mad, meaning me, because I let them know that, hey, you guys are not old enough for SSI. There's people who actually are out here working to get to this point, and really, all it is y'all got to get better.
We have mental issues.
You weren't born with mental issues. You were schizoaffective, meaning that you did them drugs all your life, and all of a sudden now you're recovering, and now, right? Now, at the end of the day, when you're sitting there, laying around doing absolutely nothing, you could be learning something, but you're not. You get paid every week through SSI, $300 a week. I think it was $300 a week. Meanwhile, every 2 weeks, $300 is taken out of my paycheck, give or take. Might be exaggerating a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's just what it is, right? Why am I paying for Medicare? I got the VA and my wife's private insurance. Why do I need to pay for Medicare? What else? The thing that it seems like people are forgetting is, why are we paying so high in gas prices here in California? Most of that is gas taxes. There's a lot of gas taxes being taken out, right? Why are we paying so much? Oh, all you cigarette smokers out there, why does it cost so much for a pack of cigarettes? Tobacco tax. Most of that's all tobacco tax. That's why a pack of cigarettes is costing you 10, 12, 13 bucks a pack, depending on what you smoke, where you're at, and all that, I keep hearing that eventually these tobacco companies are going to take over the cannabis industry. But that's neither here nor there at this point. All I'm saying is this, guys. There are a lot of other taxes being instilled, and we end up having to pay them. Why do we have to continue paying income tax? My tips I get at work are taxed. I have to claim them in tax. So when I get a tip from a customer who gives me a $5 bill, and then I have to put it in a tip box. It's like a little bread box, right? And then the managers, when they close up, they have to count the money, and then whatever number goes into the system, and then I have to leave it up to the tax system, the tax process, to tell me how much of my tips I get to receive in my paycheck. Everything's being taxed. And for what? So we can send it to Ukraine?
Every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right. $98 fucking to fill up the tank today. $98 fucking $98 fucking. I have to decide between buying gas or buying food. And guess who wins? Because I have to get to the job that I need to fucking buy anything at all. That doesn't pay me enough. And people want to donate $1,000 to fucking cats. $98 goddamn dollars at Costco to fill up my tank. $98. $5.50 a tank. $5.50 a gallon at Costco. $5.50 a gallon at Costco.
You guys, do the math. $5.50 a gallon. She spent $98. That means she got about 17 gallons of gas. What are you driving that you need 17 gallons of gas? And how the fuck did you get to Costco if you're out of gas? Because at 17 gallons of gas, what are you filling up?
This is the work of the fucking religious right.
How about no?